Although I tried to record my voice several times, none of them sound right. I can hear my accent. And for a moment, I wish I was born in another place. Not any place, but one that wouldn't make me feel the need of using an artificial voice. A place that wouldn't make me feel ashamed of recording my own narration. Can I trust you? Are you sure you want to listen?
Considered one of the first feature-length documentaries, Nanook of the North raised many questions when it comes to representation or the legitimacy of a visual narration. First, wanting to represent the life of Nanook and his family with a focus on a Western audience, Flaherty himself asked Nanook to stage many scenes, manipulating the portrayal of the other. Actually, Nanook's name wasn't even his name, but Aulaka Giolaka. That being said, what is the separation between representation and appropriation of the story of others due to the artist's privileged position? That was exactly one of the questions that motivated Grierson's group during the 1930s. Paraphrasing Brian Wilson's analysis about the Griersonian documentaries, instead of using a divorce approach from their subjects, this group saw the camera as just an instrument to develop empathy. Quote, letting the people speak for themselves, make their own movie, cause after all, it wasn't our film. Unquote. Focusing on trying to give a space to the other, but in a more observational way, however, the Grierson group found some issues when it came to the type of chosen narration. Using a voice-over narrator, the story of the other is still sound distant and kind of mechanical. How could narration itself help change the scenario of distance between the subject and the eye behind the camera? Can their struggles and personal experience affect on their way of portraying one another? According to Ousmane Sembène, there is a big difference between representing the other experience and actually being the other and going through the experience themselves.
C'est lui le héros du film, je lui passe la parole.
Although appreciating moi ou noir, during a historic confrontation in 1965, recorded by Albert Cervoni, Jean Rouch, a white French anthropologist, and Ousmane Sembène, a black Senegalese filmmaker, Sembène criticized Rouch's approach of representing African culture. Rouch said, quote, ethnology is based on precisely this idea, that someone who is in front of a foreign culture can see certain things that those who are inside cannot, unquote. Sembène responded to it, paraphrasing, you say see, but in cinema it isn't enough. You have to analyze. Ethnographic films had often done us harm. Because something is being shown, a certain kind of reality is being constructed, but we don't see any kind of evolution. What I have against these films, and what I reproach Africanists for, is that you're looking at us like insects. They find the film beautiful, but they don't know, they don't learn anything. That being said, Senbei points out that narrative and acknowledging who's behind the camera strongly influence on the truth and the legitimacy of what is being told. Nobody can explain their own experience better than themselves. Otherwise, outsiders will always see it through their own perspectives, their own eyes, misrepresenting the other on the screen.
Right now, at this very moment, as you watch these light rays striking the magnified eye, similar tiny beams of light are entering your own eyes. And it's by our eyes that we are able to gain a great part of our knowledge.
According to the radical filmmaker Vertov, quote, "Until now, we have violated the movie camera and forced it to copy the work of our eye. The weakness of the human eye is manifest. We affirm the Kino-eye, discovering within the chaos of movement the result of the Kino-eye's own movement." Unquote. Film is the vision of someone. The camera doesn't do the work by itself, so what we see on screen is exactly the perspective of the filmmaker and their choices. Behind the filmmaker's eye and technical approach, there is a whole universe of experiences and personal ideas that also influences on how the eye sees something, and consequently how the film will be. Perspectives. In the end, what does the other mean? What representation and narration can mean to them? Well, I, the narrator myself, kept wishing through the whole process of making this video essay that I could have had more access to narrators with voices like mine. But I always hear the Westerner accent. What about me? I kept playing and replaying my recordings, training myself to try to speak correctly. I mean, in a way that you would understand. That's why we need more documentaries made by the other. Art pieces full of accents, culture, facts, our own facts. A space to tell our own stories. I don't need someone to do that for me. Give me the access, the camera, and I will speak.